Hi everyone,
Hello everyone,
good to see you again.
it's Pete and Grata here from the Purple House at Forth in Tasmania.
And we're very happy to be home and to answer your questions. So I'm just having a quick sip of my herbal tea, while we wait for a few people to come on. We were having a few little tech problems. So we had to start all over again because we lost our internet connection.
How are
Hi
you, Elizabeth?
How are you? Because Father's Day is just around the corner on Sunday, and that's an important milestone or event for lots of families. I thought I would ask Peter a few questions. We haven't really done much advertising for Father's Day. It seems to go under the radar a lot more than Mother's Day.
It seems to, even at schools, the teachers don't seem to worry too much about Father's Day for some reason.
Well, actually not in our days when our kids were young. Anyway, so Pete, so you can look in the camera. I'm going to ask you some scary questions. I'm scared already. Okay, just to help people, let people know, Pete's a father of 6 kids. 3 boys and 3 girls, and I always wanted 12 kids, but luckily for Pete we stopped at 6. And Pete is also a grandfather of 14 grandchildren. How many is that? 7 girls and 7 boys. Pete always liked maths.
I was always good at maths.
That's right. He likes things to be symmetrical, so that's why we have 7 boys and 7 girls, because apparently, you know, the sex is actually determined by the sperm. That's true, isn't it?
It's meant to be,
okay.
Supposedly.
So, Pete, if we go back into history first, and you think about your own childhood, what did you love about your dad, or what sort of impact or influence did he have on your life? Or maybe what did he... Okay, I'll ask you that first.
He was a fun-loving dad. I really can only think of my dad as being fun-loving and laughing. He enjoyed his time with his children and taught us everything from building a fence on the farm to taking our engine out of our car and being able to dismantle it and put it back together again. And so he taught us everything and didn't come down on us too hard if we made a mistake.
So I should fill you in. Pete's the youngest of 6 boys and 1 girl, by the way. So you have to take that into consideration as well.
We had to do a lot of hard work, but it was always, it was on the farm, was just part of life, and it was a really enjoyable upbringing. He taught us to enjoy the things of life and to appreciate nature. Took us fishing and hunting and bushwalking. We walked as a family into Lake Pedder before it was flooded, which is quite amazing. That's something that we can't do anymore. And he sat round the fire with us on winter evenings playing cards and enjoying a good cup of tea and hot drink and crumpet and butter and honey, and I can remember sitting on his lap lots of times, enjoying laughter and jokes and good times.
Okay. Yep. I was just going to say stop it, because I'm starting to feel jealous. Because there are many people who probably can't relate to that experience.
I wished he could have been still alive. He died from a brain tumour when he was 66. Just before we had our own little farm, and it would have been nice if he could have come and seen us on our farm and our little family, but that wasn't to be.
Okay, so looking back over your father's life and your childhood, was there anything that you wish he could have done better, or not really?
I guess looking back, he could have taught us a few personal skills in getting to know ourselves our inner self more than just concentrating mainly on the outer self, because outer world.
Okay.
Because that I've come to learn that that's one of the most important things, and I wish now I would have been taught about that when I was young, about the emotional side of life.
And if he was alive today, he would have been over 100, I guess, or nearly 100.
Yep,
but
about
imagine
100.
if he was alive today, what would you give him for Father's Day? What would you do for Father's Day?
What would I do for Father's Day? I'd probably just reminisce about good times that we've had, have a good meal and a good laugh, and enjoy time together.
Okay.
That would be the best thing that he would want, I reckon. Yeah. Family time.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you sometimes feel that he's still around you?
Yeah, quite often I get a bit of an inkling that he might be wanting to tell me things, tell me to have a lot more fun, not be so serious, and chill out and enjoy life. Yeah, because his was a short life, so he did sell the farm and retire, or not retire, but he sold the farm and when he was 55, so he did have 10, 11 years after his hard work had finished, but he could have had a lot more years, and he's probably telling us to, not take life so seriously, enjoy life, enjoy experiences rather than gather possessions around us, because experiences are a lot better, memories.
Okay. Specifically, all right, I won't go into it, that's probably enough, but I just want to share one funny thing. One morning, a while ago, Peter and I, when we woke up in the morning, and we both had this psychic smell. Now, that's quite normal for me, but not so much for Peter, because Peter is actually really grounded and not really like psychic per se, but everyone is psychic, by the way, but Peter is not really aware of it that much. I woke up to this really strong smell that smelled like, in the end, I could only decide it was Peter's father, what I remembered from him. And then I mentioned it to Pete, and you had the same, didn't you, Pete?
I nearly got whiplash because I'd smelled it a few mornings before and my head whipped around. I said,
Peter
what?
hadn't said anything to me, but it was
said
a kind of a aftershave or something that your father used.
Yeah, Old Spice.
That's right. So we both were conscious then that because sometimes our loved ones who've passed over, they haven't really left us ever. They're still close to us. And they're always surrounding us with love and goodness. And sometimes when we get an inkling though, like it can be through a smell. For lots of people, they smell their mum often. Or it can be your ears start ringing, or, other things.
Sometimes it's a bird, certain bird.
Bird life.
Yeah,
so then
like
for a few days we were really conscious of Peter's father and what he was actually trying to tell us. But I've forgotten now what it was. Eh?
Yeah.
We were just trying to be a little bit more, live more in the present and be more in tune with the real reality and not so caught up in our daily actions.
They are just in a different dimension.
Not probably, they are.
They are.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And so I always say people die. Sometimes people die too young. Peter's father did die too young. He was only 66. People die young so they can be closer to us. They can be close to us all the time, like they're right by our side all the time.
And when we do energy work and tap into the emotions, often the emotion of ignored comes up when there's been someone died, and it's most likely the person is feeling ignored because we pretend
they don't exist anymore.
Take any notice of them anymore, and they're closer to us than ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And many people have experiences really that classified paranormal or psychic, and I would encourage you to take notice of it because it makes you feel good and happy. So, but we weren't going to talk about it, but maybe it is nice though to think of when it's Father's Day to include your father, or, you know, even if he's passed over, or your grandfather or father figure, or brothers even, if they've passed over. That just means we can't see them anymore, but they're still there. To be conscious of them and bring them into your life on Sunday, in particular. All right, so I'm going to ask Pete some more personal questions. I love putting him on the hot seat and make him feel all hot and sweaty.
Yeah.
Pete, what did you love about being a father? I assume he loved it, so...
Having your own child is one of the most amazing things. When you see your own child born, it teaches you what unconditional love is, really. It's an amazing feeling.
Okay, was it like that for you?
It was, yeah. I still get told off by Grada because I couldn't wipe the smile off my face when she was at the end stage of labour, and I could see my son, and she was still having to do all the hard, painful work. But it was just so exciting and exhilarating, and yeah.
But not for me.
But not for Grada, but afterwards it was for Grada.
I have.
But
yeah. I really haven't forgiven Peter, but that's okay, because we can laugh about it. All right. But anyway, if you had your time off again, would you at least not smile while I was in agony, or not?
I'd probably hide my face.
Absolutely.
I've learnt my lesson on that one.
All right, but
I'd still be excited and happy, but I would be more concerned probably for
Anyway, what
assisting
did you
Grada.
love then about being a dad?
They were little playmates for me, really. I was the youngest of a large family and 3 years younger than my twin brothers, and I didn't have any playmates, so I spent a lot of time playing with my children. And I thoroughly enjoyed watching their antics and them growing their little personalities, and I think Grada used to get a bit annoyed at me stirring them up a bit much, but I couldn't help it. I just loved...
Yeah, you're a real stirrer.
Johannan, our eldest, was a very active little boy, but he was just a little boy as far as we were concerned. But nowadays I'm sure they would have classified him
ADHD.
Probably ADHD, but he wasn't. He was just he was into life. And
he was actually.
He was an amazing, and I thoroughly enjoyed him. Every time I'd spend time with him, on the floor.
Yeah, but then Pete forgets to say there were another 5 kids. So how did that go then? How did that go down?
Well, when the other kids started, when
popping out,
3, 4, there
5,
was
6.
There was more, concerns about keeping a roof over our head and food on the table and all those things. So work and the worries of life tended to take over, and plus I didn't have a very good digestive health, and towards the end of having our kids I was introduced to enzymes which turned my life around. I must have been a bit intolerable to live with at times because of my moods, and I suffered with a bit of depression a lot of the time.
Actually, I should go like that.
I recommend everyone take enzymes with every meal because it turned my life around, plus building up the good intestinal bacteria with probiotics, because that's really our first brain, and we make more serotonin, our happy hormones. We make more in our gut than we do in the brain, so our digestion is very important for good moods. And I wish now that I could have had, well, I might be bragging, but someone like myself to go to tell me what I could have done.
Good on you for bragging.
To improve my health, so I could have had a much happier family life with the kids. They probably remember me as being a bit grumpy and moody at times.
An old grouch.
When I was younger, but I would strongly recommend if people have gut issues to get them tended to.
Yeah. Can I?
And to get to the bottom of their inner issues that are in their tissues. I suffered with guilt from losing my best mate, and that weighed over me. So I didn't get to the bottom of that for a long time.
Can I interrupt a bit? Because lots of people don't know about it. So before Pete met me, when he was 19, he was in a drowning accident and his best mate drowned, and he didn't really, Pete just shut down and shut up because nobody asked him and nobody really helped him through that situation. And then
plus I blame myself for it all the
that's
time
right,
as well.
but I wasn't really aware of that because Peter just buried that under a trillion layers in the bottom of his heart. And then so when we got married, this was before I came into Pete's life, and then we had more and more kids, which I loved. I was pretty happy with that. So was Peter, by the way. But the stresses of all that compounded on his guilt, and it wasn't really till Peter was 40, so that was like 20 years later, that he sought help for his deep, deep depression, right? And now that was actually 20 years too late. So that's the reason why Peter and I, well, one of the reasons, we really, really learned from our mistakes, and we're still learning from our mistakes, aren't we, Pete?
Yeah, well.
And we've sought answers that help us and our children in the first place for ourselves, really, so we can have a better life. And we would never want other people to waste 20 or 30 years of their life like not communicating properly, because Peter and I, there's always been a lot of love between us, thank goodness. Like we've been what you call soulmates. But we've like...
sometimes you wouldn't think so.
The communication was pretty thick, or, thick air. You could cut the air sometimes for weeks on end. So that was difficult, and now it's really, really good. So I was actually going to... So Peter, when he said he was bragging, that's not really true. Peter is just being the person he wished he could have had when he was young. Yeah. And he's that person now, like at work in a clinic, that he helps everyone with everything, and also for his children and grandchildren, Pete?
Yeah.
Like not just a role model for his children and grandchildren, but also that you can find real help, and Peter can help you get to the heart of the matter quickly now, because he suffered so much pain himself. And the pain of feeling isolated. Actually, Peter's just finished writing his book about it. That's all about that experience, which is in the publisher at the moment, and but it might be a few months before that comes out. But I have another question for you, Pete. He's probably already answered it now. No, he actually hasn't.
All
right, but just quickly then. What would you do different if you had your time all over again?
I would do my inner work early in my life.
Okay, and what do you mean by inner work? Like, if people don't know what it means.
To do my emotion, go into my emotions, what I'm feeling, rather than what I'm thinking, and it's
and connect with your little boy, maybe.
Well, connect with me, rather than just putting up a facade of who I want people to believe who I am. I want to just be me, and to get quite often we're taught things to behave in certain ways and whatever, and we've been helping each other and getting help from other practitioners now for years, and it gets to the bottom of those values, beliefs, that programs that don't stand us in good stead, very much anymore often, and
Actually,
we can get rid of those and then have so that we can have a much happier life and get on better together as a...
Yeah. I actually want to say, Peter and I, we literally have sought outside help, I guess you could say, since I was 35 and I'm 57 now, so that's already 22 years. Because, you know, when you're in a marriage, it's often really hard to I don't know, clear where you're stuck in a relationship, because it's not as if you're not trying every day of your life to be the best person that you can be, and sometimes it's just literally we've got our blinkers on, don't we? And that's actually ongoing work, and those blinkers are simply from, you know, our parents, our ancestors, our community, our culture, everything that we've ever heard, everything that's ever happened to us. It all kind of creates a set of judgments that we judge ourselves and our better half non-stop. So even today, we both still had a coaching session this morning from a coach overseas who helps us to move our shit along a little bit, you know. But that's actually true, because it's just ongoing work, and I want to really be the best person, live my potential, not just for me and not just for Peter and me,
and
but
wish,
also for my children.
I wish I could have been like that for my children when they were growing up.
Yeah. So what would you say? I'm just going to say something now. What would be the advice you would give to any father in a father situation now? Because now we're sort of luxuriating in our peace and quiet at home. Or what sort of advice would you give to your own sons who are fathers now?
I would say for them to, get their shit together and treat their...
In a loving way. In a loving way. Not in a judgmental way. No,
but get to be their authentic, true self and treat their children as their own person, rather than... Because our kids, they're brilliant, really.
They're special.
If we treat them as special and brilliant, they will be.
They're little geniuses when they're already born. That's one thing I probably didn't realise to the full extent, that when babies come into the world, they're fully open, fully brilliant. Everything is already inside them. And we don't really have to instill anything in them. They just need guidance, love and guidance.
We're really
and less judgment,
loving our grandchildren now, and I wish I could have enjoyed and had that same relationship with my children in a way. One of our little granddaughters, you ask how old she is, she's less than 2 years old, and she'll say, "My age does not define me," which is...
She's 1 year old and she goes, "My age does not define me." So they're teaching us lots of things. Like my looks do not define me, my job does not define me. That's pretty deep, isn't it? So, if we had any advice for any parents now, we would say just relax and chill out. Relax.
Don't take life so serious.
And
have fun.
They're going to be all right. They're definitely going to be all right.
And the way to do that is... I wish that we'd had somewhere like the Purple House we could have gone to get help so that we could chill out and have a lot more fun. And
the kids as well. So I work with a lot of children. I love working with children. And by the way, if you're worried about any behaviors in your kids or any form of dysfunction or allergies or destructive behaviors or even suicidal tendencies or really severe problems, we really work with all children with all kinds of problems. And children of all ages, from babies, the minute they pop out, you can already work with them.
But quite often, some of the children's problems are
They're a reflection of the parents.
A reflection of the adults,
Or not just a reflection of that. They're actually our problems. We simply just pass them on to our kids. But the good news is, and I'm really, really happy about this, change is instantaneous, I promise. You know, when children come to me, or as Sarah Ann specializes in children as well, we are like the nursery, the healers. Peter does as well. Sarah Ann and I, we just really, really specialize in children, though, and children don't need a whole series of treatments. They usually, you know, one session changes their life around, and then they just need a little bit of course correction afterwards, which is totally amazing. And I wish I could have had that for my kids when I was pulling my hair out. So Pete, I think you've done really, really well. I'm super proud of the father. Actually, I'll just say something with Peter. I am so happy that Pete is the father of my kids, and what I admire and respect most about him. Now I want to cry, but I won't. So I'll just say, keep it a little bit on the surface.
Make me cry.
Yeah, is that he has such a gentle nature. That I always felt really, really safe with him, and my children were in good hands. So like, absolutely not abusive or anything, because many people suffer abuse today, you know, especially girls, but boys as well. So that Peter's always gentle and highly intelligent. So I can dig in around him. Peter's being forever, you know, and there's always more value there. So even, and what I love about Pete too, that he taught the kids how to grow a garden, plant a forest, repair, build houses, do plumbing, electrician, everything. How to do healing. No, it's awesome though. How to pull a lawnmower, just everything that Peter can do, he's taught his kids to do. With a lot of patience, because Peter has a lot of patience. I don't.
Greta asked me what was hard about being a dad before.
One of the hardest moments, yeah.
And it probably would have been because I'd
finish the sentence.
Because I'd brought my kids up to be independent and probably strong-willed. Teaching my daughters how to drive was probably one of the hardest things.
He got grey overnight,
being a dad. But I'm I couldn't be more proud of all my kids now, and especially those strong-willed girls.
Because like one time they stole the car in the middle of on a railway track.
One of them was, I said, there's a stop sign here before a railway track and you have to stop. And so she put the foot on the brake and we stopped right in the middle of the track.
And then the other girl...
Luckily no train was coming.
Yeah, and she didn't know how to drive at all. And then when we left the property, came at the end of the driveway, there was a car coming and she had to give way. I won't mention names. And she wasn't going to give way though.
So I had to pull the handbrake on.
Real hard.
Which I nearly had my head bitten off.
She was very angry about that. So, but Peter chose to cop that rather than to have a car crash. Anyway, so that was pretty difficult, I can tell.
But I'm super proud of all of them now.
And actually, you know what, the children, they just copy you most of the time. So a lot of the time it's not even a matter of showing them which screws go where and all the rest. They just copy your behavior. So I guess that's another reason why it's good to be your best version, isn't it? But actually, that might make you feel pressured. I generally just say, be yourself. Like my children have definitely seen the worst of me especially, because I'm impatient, hot-headed, loud, noisy, demonstrative. I cry a lot and all the rest. And so they've just been part and parcel of it because I couldn't help it. And they're fine with it. They love me for it.
I've probably been a bit too independent, so it's taught my kids to be independent because I have often not asked for help in a lot of things.
That's right. The hardest thing for Peter is to ask for help. I was going to say that.
Yeah.
Peter just can't ask for help.
I'm learning. I'm
Okay.
getting there. But
so if you had your time all over again, or you would say that to your boys, hey?
Yep.
Ask for help, reach out for help, rather. Reach out for help. Don't keep struggling on your own when with like deep-seated issues. Definitely don't do that. Well, I think Peter deserves his Father's Day present right now.
What is it?
So I'm going to give it to you. There you go.
Wow. It's a gift voucher for a hot stone massage at the Purple House. And the last time I had one of these, I actually wrote a blog about it because I felt really chilled out for a good week afterwards, and that's probably why Grada has given me another one now. So I wrote a blog on it, which was how to be totally stoned without the weed.
It's definitely so worth it.
And it is amazing. I felt really chilled.
And it's not just because of the hot stones, it's also because Tina has healing hands.
She does.
And it's just like magic actually when she when you get a massage with a hot stone. So sorry for everyone on the mainland.
So you ladies, if you want your fellas chilled out on Father's Day or afterwards, shout them to a hot stone
and then
massage with Tina. It's brilliant.
And then you can use it yourself.
If they don't want it. If they don't want to be helped.
Okay, so thanks for tuning in. I hope you all have an awesome Father's Day. And if your father has passed over like my father did last year as well, they're still there surrounding you with his loving energy. So just open up and tune into it a little bit so you can have a good Father's Day as well. Yep. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and looking forward to hearing from you next week. Stay warm.
Okay, bye.
Bye.